Hello, my name is Sean Luce, Technical Marketing Engineer for Azure NetApp Files, and this is Quick Bytes. This week, I'd like to tell you about yet another security feature called Disable Show Mount. By default, Azure NetApp Files supports the Showmount function to show NFS exported volumes as advertised from your Azure NetApp Files storage endpoints. What this means is that from a Linux workstation, a user can use the showmount -e command against your Azure NetApp Files endpoint to reveal volumes that have been exported, even if the export policy restricts that client from mounting the volume. Some may consider this a security risk, and it may also cause vulnerability scanners to flag the Azure NetApp Files service as having a vulnerability. To remedy this situation, we have introduced the Disable Showmount feature. When enabled at the Azure subscription level, Disable Showmount will disable the Showmount functionality for all volumes in that subscription and prevent bad actors from seeing which NFS volumes are available for mounting, unless they have the appropriate access to Azure Resource Manager. Let's dive into the Azure portal and I'll show you how to use this great new feature. Let's start by taking a look at the default behavior using the showmount command from our Linux workstation. From your Azure NetApp Files volume, take a look at the mount instructions and copy the IP address. Now, from your Linux workstation, execute the showmount -e command followed by the IP address. Notice the command returns all of our volumes being served from that endpoint. Hopefully you are using export policies and network security groups to properly control access to those volumes. But maybe you would still rather not expose those volumes via the showmount command. Let's activate Disable Showmount. From Cloud Shell, use register-az provider feature to activate Disable Showmount. I'll put a link at the end of this video to the docs page with these commands. Notice that our NetApp account is now showing true for the Disable Showmount feature. Let's try that showmount command again from our Linux workstation. And there you go. No more exports are being advertised, even though they are still available for mounting. To deactivate Disable Showmount, use the unregister-az provider feature command from Azure Cloud Shell. Let's review. By default, Azure NetApp Files supports the showmount feature to reveal which NFS exports are being exported from a storage endpoint. With Disable Showmount activated, Azure NetApp Files disables this showmount functionality. Please remember that security happens in layers, and Disable Showmount is one of many ways Azure has enabled you to protect your sensitive data. Thanks for watching. For more information on Disable Showmount for Azure NetApp Files, head on over to learn.microsoft.com or scan the QR code below.